Xbox, the Box and Xbox podcast. My name is Potato from Potato Pro Wrestling, and I'm with my good friend, Alice. How you doing, Alice?
Hi. My pronouns are she, they, and I think it's a bit of a bumper episode too, because I think it was like, I think we just got a lot of news to go through, and hopefully it wouldn't be like about 2 hours, you know?
Hope not. We're not trying to do it in PS3 Trust where they're like 3-4 hour podcasts. We're going to try to aim for about an hour to 2 hours, hopefully.
But at the time of recording, we're just about to be on neck with the PSC in Trust guys. So I think it shows us like, I think it was...
Oh, it's subscriber counts, which is what you meant then.
Yes.
Yeah, we've almost caught them. Caught them. 100. We're nearly 150, and they're 153, 54, I think.
They're at 153, so we're at 151 at the moment. So therefore, it's a bit of a while for us to go, but we're also planning a new series coming up soon. So just subscribe to the channel, and you'll be able to see. But the hint is something to do with the Achievement Hunter's biggest show. Subscribe to find out.
And it's not Ruby.
You know, it's a bit ironic that every time I bring up the Rooster Teeth, like, you complain about me, like, mentioning Ruby every week, but now it's you mentioning Ruby every week because you think as if I was going to say about it.
I've just pointed it out. Well, Achievement Hunter and Rooster Teeth are not the same thing. I mean, they are, but they're not. But you know what I'm saying. Anyway, Achievement Hunter is a part of Rooster Teeth. Who cares? Anyway, we hopefully have a new series coming out, hopefully. Fingers crossed. And then also we got our Halo There podcast, which did quite well for episode 1. We have a Halo podcast, and we're going to be doing that for the next 6 weeks until Starfield. And then we have a Starfield podcast lined up. And we think we've come up with a name, but we're not going to tell you quite yet. We're going to tease you. You have to. We'll tell you about it another time.
Well, you know, our lips are kind of bit sealed when it comes to any new plans there. So... Yeah,
but we're doing Halo There for a couple of weeks, so enjoy Halo There. We got episode 2 coming up. We're going to be talking about the Tenroy event that's just happened or just dropped. We're going to jump into the show. So I'm looking at the show notes, and you've just moved a load of stuff around, so now I'm really confused.
But anyway, to start off with, I just got like Disney Plus, and I was checking out shows like Secret Invasion and Home Improvement. What I checked out last weekend. Yeah. But anyway.
That's Home Improvement. Anyway, yeah.
Anyway, so last weekend, I was like checking out the show called Bluey. So I saw like 3 episodes, and it's like, oh, wow, this is actually all play to pretend. But ever since I looked them up on like YouTube, it's just like, oh, now I'm getting clips and recommended, and it's got like memes. Like there's Bingo is just saying like, oh, how do the babies get inside the mother? And then Bandit is just like wraps her up and then whoa. And then there's another one where there's train tickets where Bingo displays the ticket, and then Bandit is just like, ticket. No. Here's a ticket. Thank you very much. There's a ticket. And then the Bluey's right there and said like, no ticket. Okay. Then he just cuts over to Bandit grabbing Bluey, and then and then it switches over to like Indiana Jones scene where Indy like chucks a Nazi out, and then he said, no ticket.
Yeah, but for people who don't know what you're talking about, because it just seems completely random what you just said, Bluey is a kids' cartoon show from Australia, from down under, where my nephews live. So my nephews are a big fan of Bluey, so I know of the show. I've never really watched it. It's about a dog called Bluey, which is a girl dog, and their sister Bingo, because my nephews watch it, and then my mum's watched all of them as well. Apparently, it is very popular. It's like the Australian version of Peppa Pig, basically.
Yeah,
but it's about dogs.
So basically, it's what you get.
So I just wanted to cover that for the audience who didn't know what Bluey was, because otherwise you was just like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, what?
It's like Peppa Pig, except she's turned upside down to reveal that she's a dog.
Yeah, the world's upside down because it's in Australia. Do you know there's a game theory or like a film theory about Bluey, about it being like after the race has been wiped out, the dogs have evolved to take over their stuff. And that's the theory that everyone has online. The dogs have evolved to like learn how to use mobile phones and cars and stuff after the humans have got wiped out. That's the conspiracy theory for Bluey. I watched that on Game Theory. I thought that was interesting. People are weird. People overthink these things. It's a kid. It's a show for toddlers. It's not post-apocalyptic. It's not Fallout New Vegas with dogs. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like humanity went through the sixth extinction event. So there's no humans, but it's replaced by evolved version of dogs. But I was been thinking, like, while I was trying to rest after having the migraine, I was like, But then, if you're not too worried about, we shouldn't be too worried about Earth getting too hot, because Earth has been like ridiculously hot in the Jurassic and all the dinosaur times. So
it's true.
Then the temperatures dipped, we strived, and then we're thinking like, oh no, the world's going to turn into an absolute walk because of a climate change. But then, if you think about the Earth that used to be like ridiculously hot, that's unsafe for humans before, then we'd just be gone, and then we be replaced by somebody else. We just happen to be the most intelligent of all the sapient creatures in the planet so far, unless we have like lizard men or some sort.
Dogs are taking over. I wouldn't be mad at that. Dogs are better than people most of the time anyway, so I'm good with that.
Yeah,
I for one will bow down to our dog overlords.
Bow down to Bluey. But speaking of Bluey, you mentioned about that Bluey being the girl dog. I was like, it's just like, it's sort of like a Bluey for boys and Orange for girls. But then I just been looking around the internet because I saw like some of the descriptions that she uses she, her pronouns, and then it just turns out, what? Blue is a girl?
Yeah, Blue's a girl, and then Bingo's a boy, and then I haven't really watched it, but like, I've like watched videos about the show, but I've not actually watched the show. Hilariously, like apparently, like I think Bandit's the name of the dad, and he's like they say he's the first good like representation of a dad in cartoons for decades, because Homer Simpson is stupid, and like the guy the dad from Peppa Pig is also stupid, and Randy Marsh from South Park is also stupid, whereas the dad from Bluey is actually level-headed and not a complete moron like most dads in cartoons. I just thought that was interesting. Yeah, because I was watching like I watch essays about like movies and TV and stuff. So thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
if you want to watch some kids' TV, Bluey is highly recommended.
Yeah,
my nephew's more into Paw Patrol at the moment, which is shite. At least Bluey's actually kind of entertaining.
Oh,
call them out.
Like, listen, my nephew enjoys Paw Patrol, and he also enjoys Bluey a lot. Like, I remember giving him a Bluey plushie for like Christmas, and then niece is into like Bluey too, and like, interesting. But anyway, he's just like, the Bandit is like being the token dad of this whole thing, and there's some really really good moments with him too. It's just like I was watching one of the memes. It's just like, what's this? Dishwasher? This? And then his wife has just said, it's like, I'm your wife. You're my wife? And
okay, I don't know what you're referring to.
I don't know. There's a lot. I think it's just like going down the rabbit hole once you look up on Bluey on like YouTube. So it's just like,
So don't do it. It seems like that's the new SpongeBob when it comes to these kind of memes and stuff. SpongeBob memes are everywhere. So that being said, Bluey, check it out if you have kids or nephews or whatever, like we do. So we're going to start the show off how we always started off with.
What have we been playing?
So I got a couple of things I want to just get covered straight away. So Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I have finally saved Hyrule. I finally beat it. I'm sad it's over. I almost cried because I finished it. I'm like, oh, it's the best game I've ever played, and I'm done with it now. It was great. It's absolutely fantastic. The ending is absolutely incredible. But the Breath of the Wild ending was a bit anticlimactic, whereas this one is fantastic. The ending is so good in Tears of the Kingdom. Highly recommend it if you've been putting it off, that you should finish it at some point. But take your time because it's worth, it's just savor it. It's such a good game. It's worth savoring. Loved it. Loved every second of it. Still my game of the year. Will Starfield take it over? Who knows? We'll see. Maybe. That's like the only thing I could see being my game of the year. This is not Zelda. So we'll see. Then I've just started Midnight Suns, which, if you haven't heard of it, it's a Marvel game. It's like XCOM meets like a card game, sort of. It's fun. It's really fun. You got Iron Man and Doctor Strange and Blade and Morbius and all these random like Marvel characters. They're not like all the main ones. They got like random like kind of niche ones in there as well. But yeah, it's just it's a fun Marvel game. So I've been playing that as well. And then me and you have both been playing Halo and Minecraft together.
Before we get over to that, I got a. So you said to me about like beating Zelda, the Tears of the Kingdom. And it took you like 200 hours to beat it?
200 plus, yeah. 200 plus hours. Well, it's because, I could have just mainlined it and gone straight to the final boss, couldn't I? But I took my time with it. So I think I said this, I thought, without spoiling, I try not to spoil it, but I'm just going to explain something that happened to me. So I was like, this must be the final mission. It's like, bleep, 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 bleep. This looks like it's the final mission. I went there, did it. And then it's like, oh, we're going to retreat now, and then you need to do this, 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 and this before you can do the final boss. It's like, okay, so first we need to find this person. And then it goes, oh, you've already found him. Okay, never mind. Okay, now you need to get this, you need to find this certain item. Oh, you've already found it. Never mind. Okay, and now you're going to find where this final boss is. Oh, you already know where that is. Never mind. I just went to the end. It's like the game, like when you got these free extra quests to do before you can finish the game, and I already done them all. Like before I even.
What is your name? What is your purpose? What is your favorite color?
Basically, yeah. But it's just like, oh, we're in so much trouble. We need to find this person. I'm like, wait, Link, you've already found this person? You've already been working with this person? I'm like, yeah. Oh, okay, cool. We'll need this item for you to beat the game. It's like, you've already found this item. Oh, okay. Literally what happened. Like the dialogue says you need to find it, and it's like, oh, Link, why didn't you tell us you already had this?
Yes.
And then I finished the game. But yeah, I could have finished if you mainline it, I think people are speedrunning it, beating it in like 45 minutes. So you can beat it like pretty quickly if you wanted to. But I took 200 hours because I tried to do every shrine, every light route, every side quest. Tried to unlock all the different types of armors and different swords and stuff. And I still got stuff to do on it. I got a list of stuff on there that I still need to finish. But I've finished the main story now. And it makes me kind of sad because it was really fun and it was really good. And probably the best game I've ever played. So, and that's kind of sad that it's finished and done. I might replay it at some point. Who knows?
Well, last night, while we playing Minecraft, you said about like, oh, well, Midnight Sun is great. I just like bought that, and I think you got it at like about 50% off in Xbox Store.
I bought it about 3 months ago, yeah, and I've been meaning to play it, and I keep getting delayed. And then today was the first time I actually booted it up.
Yeah, because I was like,
tonight is the night I'm going to play Midnight Suns, and I get a message from you. I'm playing Halo. I'm like, all right, I'll play Halo instead. But never mind. Midnight Suns, you're going to have to wait another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Then to play it morning.
But the reason I brought this up is, like, we were playing about Minecraft and we were discussing about Midnight Suns because on Halo Store this week, there was a bundle which contains 3 new UI core armor customizations, and it has all those kind of pieces you can get. But you had to buy the whole bundle for 3,400, which is equivalent of £20 or even like about $34. I'm not sure. but this is the only way in which you can get Dragonborn shoulder pads for the UI core, which is like shaped like dragon heads. And then the reason is that I brought it up doing Minecraft, and you said, "Oh, there's no point. Don't buy it. You just like don't want to be a Halo rail." And then I was saying like, well, I suppose I don't buy that. And then you buy a like Midnight Suns about 3 months ago, and you haven't even tried it. Like I bought Ghost Hunter, and it's like I haven't even started playing it. So my point is it more worth to buy the game that you're never going to be able to play, or you just buy a bunch of cosmetics that you're more likely to use for the game?
I mean, I've always been planning to play it, and it's been on my bucket list of games to play for a while. I mean, you could argue that should I have bought like 20 different skins for Halo instead of buying a PS5, because I have barely played my PS5. So I probably could have just bought a load of skins for Halo if we're having the same argument. We should figure that out. Like, how many, like, we should put, that's the question of the week. Would you rather own a PS5 or every armor set in Halo Infinite?
I think that every armor set in Halo Infinite will be more expensive than PlayStation 5, mind you.
That's probably true, yeah. So I mean that, but yeah, I personally think I'm not a huge fan of buying skins in games. I think I know it's a free to play game, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I've done it a couple of times because I'm an idiot, but I try. I don't think it's a good thing to encourage developers to like keep shoving down our throats. You know, it's not a good thing. So I try and avoid buying skins when I can. But yeah, I get your argument. If I'm paying 30 quid for a game I'm never going to play, might as well pay 30 quid for a skin that I might use on my character, I suppose. But then I add the argument back with you, is that you're buying 3 skins for the same armor core, so you can only wear one of them at a time. So you're literally going to be wearing one of the 3 skins. So it seems a bit silly.
Well, but, anyway, this brings to the point that the 10Y returns. This time, it launches with exclusive items for the UI core, as well as some like returning pieces you can find in, I think it's the Halo Infinite shop, where you get discounts on a bunch of like UI core items, as well as a new UI core items. But if you're planning to not spend any microtransactions, then you'll be left with just a event pass that comes with 10 free items, and that's it. So it's just like trying to open your wallet if you want to get more things like new helmets and everything.
Okay. Yeah, it's money. Give me your money. It's the 10 right event. It's the Ninja Samurai event. I mean, I've already got a badass samurai outfit already, so I don't really need to spend any more money on it, to be honest. You got the 10 tier battle pass, which is a couple of items to unlock. Some of them are pretty cool, like shoulder pads and knee pads and stuff. And you got like a keychain. There's like a cat charm. What are they called? I can't remember what they're called. Like a lucky cat from Japan. I forgot what they're called now. There's a name for it. Let us know in the comments below if you know the name for it. But we can argue about how much things are worth. But like, you know, you could be like Spencer and spend 200 quid on a PlayStation controller. Or you could buy a load of skins on Halo. Either way, I think both of those may be a bit too much money with what you're paying for, personally.
Well, that leads to another question, though. Would you rather spend £200 on an Elite controller for the PlayStation 5, or you buy Elite Controller 2 as well as a Starfield controller?
That one.
Yeah.
So I use my Xbox all the time. I don't use my PlayStation, so there's no point in buying any Elite controller for my PlayStation.
Yeah. So basically, you can buy a Series 2 Elite controller, and in case of it, and you have a Starfield controller there in case someone pops over, or your Series 2 controller breaks and you left with the Starfield controller to use.
I mean, it's kind of off topic, but I was thinking about it earlier. I was thinking about how I fancied playing Ghost of Tsushima on my PS5, and I just couldn't be bothered getting the controller and setting it all up to play it. So I have to play on my Xbox. But it's like I want to go back to Ghost of Tsushima. That's like the only PS5 game I really want to go back to. And then Spider-Man 2 I want to get, but it comes out the same day as Mario Wonder. So I'm probably just going to get Super Mario Wonder and then get Spider-Man 2 for Christmas, probably. So I'm probably not going to be playing my PS5 now until Christmas, and we're in July. So that just tells you how much how much the PS5 is attracting me at the moment. It's not doing a good job at keeping me interested, to be honest.
Yeah, But yeah, so the 10Y event is just like cosmetics, really, because in the past you have the introduction of Fiesta with the 10Y event, but now it's just like, it's just the same as last week, which is like any mode. Just complete the challenges, which is much easier. Like, how easy is to get kills and points, did you think?
Pretty sweet, pretty easy, yeah. I've got most of it done and we only played for an hour. But the main item, I think, in the battle pass is a AR assault rifle with like a samurai kind of skin to it. So that's kind of rad. It's worth getting it just for that. I think it's a cool gun. Maybe we shouldn't talk so much about the Terror event because we're going to be talking about this a lot in the Halo there podcast, so we don't want to kind of.
We just only need to summarize it. Apart from that, we just like being together and play some like mixture of Social Slayer and Fiesta. But I think Fiesta is by far like the favorite mode between us because we can like get random weapons on each respawn and just kill each other with it. So
yeah, we both like Halo, but we're not sweaty Halo players. You know what I mean? We're not like, oh man, my KD has to be 2.0. I can't. I need to be top of the team, and I got to be the best and all this stuff. We're just like, yay! I got a rocket launcher. Pew pew. That's more of us. That's like we just chill and have fun on Halo. So yeah, Fiesta's my jam. I love Fiesta. It's such a fun game mode. So we both played Halo, and we both started playing Minecraft again. My addiction. Thanks for that. I'm addicted to Minecraft. It's been my top 10 games of all time. It's one of those games I always go back to and spend hours on. And Alice is like, join me. Play some Minecraft. Join me. And I'm addicted to it again. It's like, thanks. I just got out of this addiction. I just broke this addiction. God damn it, Alice.
I've been planning to do my own world for months because I was part of the Minecraft Realms and it was supposed to be a group of LGBT people there for me to play with. Old world, there has a few people in there, but when we did the next world for like 1.19, it was just me, really. So then it's just like got stale and even lost my precious diamond axe. For some reason, it disappeared due to the glitch. And I'm like, well, what's the point? So now I'm just like, oh, well, might as well start a new world on my own terms, have you in it, and just like building worlds and stuff like that. But then I think we're just trying to take it step by step as we're just trying to build some amazing contraptions. So, but I think it's just something like, yeah, we just like play this, stress relief. And it turned out like I've been staying up all night, like every night, building stuff when I realized, oh, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh dear.
Yeah, it's a bad habit to get into. Minecraft, I was saying to you, it's the first game I remember playing till like 6 o'clock in the morning and losing track of time. Like, it's the first game I remember doing that in university. I'm just like non-stop playing. I was like, wait, it's 6 o'clock? Oh man, I should probably stop playing Minecraft. And it just kept going.
Yeah.
It's one of those games you just get lost and just keep going. It's like, I just want to make another story to this building. I'm just going to add another 20 blocks. I need to get a couple more material. And you just keep going. Just keep going and going and going. Like, no! I'm addicted.
Last night, I've been like playing until like 4 a.m. And that's when I was like trying to lay out the foundations for a building. But then I'm like, stop the 4 o'clock. And I'm like, what's on YouTube? Oh, interesting. ASMR, food things, and looking at other bits. Or even like looking up about, I think there was one video that I enjoyed watching, but I don't seem to remember. Oh yeah, you're doing like fried chicken in the 18th century recipe because it's called marinated chicken. Only it's like marinated and you have a simple batter with it. You can fry it in lard. And then I was just kept watching videos until it was about 5 o'clock in the morning. Lost outside and it's like, oh, it's turning day. And yeah, I feel a bit awake, which means I'm not exactly tired.
Yeah, I never know where our conversations are going in these podcasts. I wasn't expecting large medieval chicken to come up in our conversations, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, I know what I'm feeling though. I get addicted to stuff on YouTube. I'll just go down a rabbit hole and just watch random stuff. As I said, I watch a lot of video essays. I've been watching a lot of video essays about South Park the last few days for some reason. Do you know that the owners of South Park have just bought a restaurant in where they used to live, which was in the show called Casa Bonita, and there's like a couple of grand they need to do to rebuild it and stuff. So yeah, so now they own a restaurant as well. Now the people who make South Park, Matt Stone and Trey Parker. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah, so we're looking at games we've been playing. You have played a game that I haven't played this week. If you want to cover that before we move on to the news.
Sonic Origins, beaten all 4 games, and I'm like, yay! I just like beaten an entire story. Like I've beaten Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic CD, Sonic 2, and now Sonic 3 on Knuckles, where it's got like, which I was been dreading because of like how big the levels are, and I'm like, oh gosh, this is a relief. Took me a few tries to beat the last stage of the final boss, and I'm like, beaten all, and relief. But now I just got a few more things apart from unlocking everything in the museum, which is to do like collecting more coins and trying to find more secrets as Knuckles in Sonic CD and as Amy across all the games. So there's still a bit of more work to do, but now I'm just like shifted my attention to Minecraft. But they said they got me off the addiction for like Advance Wars on the Switch. So yeah.
Oh, that's fair. My addiction of Zelda is complete because I've literally done everything I can in it. So I'm going to get a new addiction until Starfield in September. New addictions. Okay, so we're on to
the news at Xbox O'Clock.
Yeah, the first piece of news I'm looking at I haven't actually heard about this. So something happened in Times Square.
Yeah, so what happened is, on Instagram, someone bought an ad place in the Times Square, which is in New York, and they brought up an image of Halo Combat Evolved with a hashtag saying, bring Halo mods to Xbox. And the argument is that 343 Industries should bring mods over for, like, Master Chief Collection on Xbox. And I don't know if it applies to Halo Infinite as well. But I think they definitely should like have a custom games browser, like with Skyrim and the Bethesda games browser, because that way you can get like Cursed Halo mods that offer better gameplay and all those sort of things. I think this will improve Master Chief Collection so much. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree, and I think we mentioned it. I think we might have mentioned it last week or the week before. That they're bringing back some lost content from the original Halo Combat Evolved and put it on the PC version. So it would be nice for us to get that. Like, it feels like the PC version gets all the extra stuff, and where it kind of just you get like just the basic stuff, which is annoying because Halo is like an Xbox game. So yeah, I would love that. I hope so. I would love to bring some mods to Halo. I love Xbox to get a bit more open with their games. That'd be cool.
What I did miss out though is Master Chief Collection was like £7 during the Steam summer sale. Now it's just like ended. It's like gone back to £30. I'm like, oh no! But then there's still summer. What happened to the sale? Did they finish early? But anyway, it just means that because I got the Game Pass, I had to like use the Microsoft's own game browser on Xbox in order to play Master Chief Collection. But I think it's better for me to get on Steam because of how accessible it is compared to the Microsoft browser.
Oh, sorry.
I thought I should be the one yawning. Staying up so late.
It's been a lot. It's been a long day. So, big news coming from the UK. We are going into the all-digital future. Major retail chain Tesco's will no longer be selling physical video games. And also, GameSpot in Ireland is closing down all their stores. Yikes. Rest in peace, physical games.
It's been many years since like game stores have been closing nationwide. There's used to be one in my local town, but that got shut down. And the best place to buy games is for the computer exchange where you get all the used games in there. Like if you want to like get games, the shop's all down. The game's closed, and that's before the one in my local town. And now it's just like, I think there's like a game store in like Plymouth, but now it's just like less and less stores, and it just means like it's going to be like places for merchandise. But I mean, if you want to get games, it just seems like it pushes us to go for like digital games. So expect consoles to come without the disc drive. Like my new PC, been deciding on the components, but I think the way the cases are like designed is probably better than not put a disc drive because you'll be getting everything online. So it sucks. Speaking of which, I've been helping out with my dad to like try to get Civilization 4 on DVD for years, like trying to install it, but just couldn't get into it because it says like, oh, you have admin rights issue. Oh no, you couldn't like run it. Like despite getting the DirectX to work, it's just like nah. And it just seems like it's probably better for my dad to buy it on Civilization 6 on Steam for like £5. So what's the point?
Yeah. Can you put it on like a hard drive or something, or like a USB? Like that might be better than putting it on the disc.
Probably not, because I think it just depends on like whether there's any guides in which you can like turn the DVD into a game that you play on a hard drive. Easier for like DOS games, but not for like older games too. It just depends on the complexity.
So you're saying about disk drives as well. So that's a thing. That is a big thing because disk drives are a big moving component. It's something that moves constantly and it damages the internal parts of the console. So a lot of things do not like if you remove a disk drive, it hopefully would last longer in theoretically, but I don't know. It makes me a bit sad because I love having collections of physical games. However, I have Game Pass, and I play most of my games through Game Pass, and I play most of my games digitally, and I download most of my games. It's very rare for me to buy a physical game now, so I'm not that upset, but it does make me worry about game preservation, because if Xbox just goes out of business tomorrow, or all our games just going to be gone forever, you know what I mean? Like, it is worrying. Like, game preservation is a thing, and like, you got the PS5 Slim, which doesn't have, or not Slim, what it's called now, just discless in it, or digital, all digital PS5. And then you got the Xbox Series S, and you got the Series S, haven't you? So that neither of them have disc drives. So that's obviously designed to be all digital. The only the issue you would have with all digital games is that you can't compete for prices. Then, like if if you want to buy a game and it's like £70 on the digital store, that you're gonna have to pay that. You can't get a game for cheaper on disc somewhere else, because sometimes I buy a game on disc because it's much cheaper than buy it digitally, but you lose that option if it becomes an all digital future, and it looks like UK is moving towards that, unfortunately.
Well, that just brings me to this argument that, like, over a decade ago, about 2006, it's just like how people are like getting really annoyed about used games. It's just like as if like they don't like the idea of people buying secondhand, so they're trying to rely on DRM and trying to like deal with this resale values, because they don't really want to like give the games away for free and like give it to someone else. Like, because you can't control it, you buy the bug and you give it over to somebody else for a reduced price. But developers seems to take a huge issue with it. But now, this decade, it seems as if they're being so spoiled because they get more money from purchases and people don't get to sell them off. But it's even worse, like, this has happened before. Like, 3DS and Wii U eShop has been closed down, which means you'll no longer be able to buy games there. I think you can still download them, but you may not be able to download them for long. And it just shows, like, it's only as long as you can keep them. And if you lose your console, then it'll be more difficult to get the games back.
Yeah, you can download the games if you've already owned them. You can't purchase any more games. So if there's a game that you wanted to play on those stores, you no longer can. There's a video by The Completionist who did a good video recently where he bought every 3DS and every Wii U game and put them all on. So basically to preserve them and keep them. It cost him a couple of grand to do it as well. So it's worth checking out that video. It's a really interesting video. But it's so difficult to preserve games, you know. I'm a kind of a hypocrite because I like digital gaming. I like digital games. I think it's an easier, more convenient way of doing it. I mean, a Game Pass is like the greatest thing ever. I absolutely adore it. Like, I'll recommend it to literally everybody I know. It's like, get Game Pass, get Game Pass, get Game Pass. But I'm a hypocrite because I'm all digital. Pretty much I'm an all digital gamer. It's very rare for me to buy a physical disc. However, it doesn't mean I don't want the option there. I would love to, the idea of not having an option to buy something physically if the digital version is overpriced or whatever is kind of scary. And I think that is the future we're heading towards, unfortunately. Yeah, terrifying.
Also, the bigger problem is that, like, if the games consoles don't have the disc drives, it means you're pretty much left out without ability to play DVDs and Blu-rays. But then even Microsoft's not into those kind of things. Like, they just put this like box standard DVD Blu-ray player, and it just comes with glitches. Like, you play this, hoping that I can like watch in 4K, and now it's just like you get one time that I got a glitch as well as playing one of the Breaking Bad Blu-rays. And in not only that, it's just like a bit longer for me to play it. And it just makes me think like I should instead buy about £200 if I want a Blu-ray player, because that way I can easily play the Blu-ray discs using the really good technology for it instead of relying on the game system.
But Blu-ray has kind of gone the way the video games industry is going. Most people just get Disney Plus now, or get Netflix, or get HBO Max and watch their TV shows digitally or films digitally. Or you can buy them digitally off the digital store as well, these movies and stuff. But physical DVDs and Blu-rays is dying out as well. It's kind of the same thing. And music that's already happened in the music industry. Like, how many people buy CDs these days? Like, pretty much everyone just has Spotify or YouTube Music or whatever. I think the only business that hasn't really done that is books. I mean, yeah, you got Kindle and stuff, but I think most people still prefer to have physical books than digital books. Majority of the people, I imagine, prefer books to Kindles, right? I mean, do you have a Kindle? My mum has a Kindle.
Yes, I have.
A Kindle. But do you prefer physical books, real books to Kindles, or does it not bother you?
Oh, I prefer books, to be honest, and I tend to prefer to put them on I can put them on the I believe, I can put them on like the on the Kindle, really, because it saves on having to carry so many books. But then that just goes towards the digital goods as well. So
yeah. But so like as I said, music industry, that's pretty much all digital now, more or less. Not many people buy CDs. Maybe some people buy vinyls as if they're hippies, hipsters. Movie industry, Blu-rays and DVDs are kind of dying out. And not as many people are buying them as they used to. Most people just use Netflix and Disney Plus. And now gaming's kind of going the same way. You got Game Pass, you got PlayStation Plus, you got Nintendo Switch Online. Then you have digital storefronts as well. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next 10, 15 years. It makes me sad thinking physical games are going to be gone, but I think it is the future, unfortunately. But if you really care about preserving games, make sure you buy them physically. But yeah, I'm a hypocrite. I'm going to stick to doing digital games most of the time.
It's easier said than done, because the real challenge is just trying a physical game that you can pay for less than 70 quid.
Exactly. Well, back in the day, I just remember going into like a game store and just buying like 20 games for like 20 quid or whatever, like really cheap secondhand games for GameCube and stuff, and I would have a blast. But you can't do that anymore, unfortunately. So, sad times.
Anyway, so
next subject.
The next subject is the Limited One Games Showcase has revealed a bunch of retro games being re-released for the consoles. And you have like Tonka, that's coming back, the PlayStation 1 Classic. There's Gex Trilogy, which comes out soon.
Gex, woo! Gex, everyone's favourite Gex.
There's also a Jurassic Park collection, which is re-releasing the games on the NES and Super Nintendo, but they said there's more games coming out, so I'm hoping they will have Mega Drive games, which I remember more than the NES and Super Nintendo ones.
Yeah, I remember the NES one. It wasn't that great.
And also, Shantae. Yes, Shantae fans. I think it's been unreleased, and now Rayford is trying to wrap it up so you can play it on the Nintendo Game Boy Advance. So I don't know if it means you can like play it on the modern consoles, but what's happening is that Carbon Engine is being made, and its whole purpose of it is that it will easily port the retro games to modern consoles, and want some vintage gamers behind it. So he's been like discussing about like getting the engine done so it's easy to port the games without having to rely on specific developers with their own engines to put the retro games across. Like so far, M2 is like the king of the developers behind retro engines, whereas some engines are like piss poor. But I think hopefully with the Carbon engine, that being the more generalized engine, it just means you can like bring retro games to the system. So I think this is particularly a very exciting thing. But at the same time, you definitely get games like Tunker, Guess Trilogy, and Jurassic Park Collection. That if it goes well, it means more and more developers will like bring their games out. But I think this is going to be a bit daunting because there's already like developers who have like released Mega Drive games as separate, and you pay £5 for each game. So it's just they're trying to re-release games and sell them as actual copies when we just wanted like collections of more retro games on it. I mean, that's what we wanted the most, right? Yeah,
no, I agree. I think it's good to get some retro games onto the system though, and hopefully we can get that sorted. We have a lot to get through, so I think we should try and pick up the pace a little bit, if that's all right. So just Sony signs the 10-year Call of Duty deal, and it's a worse deal than what they had originally. Xbox said originally you have a 10-year deal and you'll have all Activision games going forward, and now they don't have that. It's just a Call of Duty deal for 10 years. So, should have took the deal when you were offered it first, Jim Ryan. Like, I'm changing the deal. Pray I don't change it again. Darth Vader, if you don't know the reference. But yeah, no, I think good. I was saying that I think Xbox should be petty. I would be petty. I'd be like, you get Call of Duty for 2 years and you have to pay us 99% of royalties. That's what I'd be like. I'd be fuck you to Jim Ryan for being a little baby. I would be totally petty. Xbox are a lot less petty than I am, but yeah, there you go. The 10-year deal has been done. We can finally, Jim Ryan can stop crying now, and he's got his deal. He signed his deal. What do you think about it before we move on to the next bit of news?
Well, I think it's a good thing because, like, it just means you get other Activision games like Tony Hawk games, Spyro, and Crash Bandicoot. Like, the latter two are going to be like Xbox mascots. But I think what's going to mean is that this will mostly affect the new games coming over to Xbox, whereas the backwards compatibility, the previous catalogue, I think the biggest change is that you'll get them on the Game Pass, but then you still have them like on the other systems. So pretty much it. Yeah. But I think it just means either you have to pay full price for them on like the PlayStation Store, or they get delisted. But I think it's just people like not likely to get any benefits with it if they play on outside the Microsoft system. So
I think so I think they're not going to delist current games, but I imagine like Spyro, like the new Spyro game will be exclusive to Xbox. The new Crash Bandicoot game will be exclusive. The new Tony Hawk's game will be exclusive. The new Diablo, if they make a new Diablo within the next 20 years, that'll be exclusive, But I think the games that are already out are not going to be exclusive. But interested, I think that's cool for us. Good for us. PlayStation, you should have just took the deal when you were offered it. Don't know why you had a really good offer and you were just being babies. So shame on you. Speaking of Game Pass, 2 Point Campus and Ascent are leaving Game Pass. Oh no. But Celeste is returning, which I like. Celeste is a good game.
That update really winds me up because, like, the Celeste left, assuming it's not going to return, so I just went over to the shop and buy it. But turns out it's coming back on Game Pass, so it's like I wasted money there. But I was like trying to get my fingers into 2 Point Campus and been leaving it off for months, and now in 2 weeks' time it's just leaving with Ascent. So that's really. And
I thought Ascent already left, and then he's come back, and I was leaving again. There seems to be a thing with Xbox. Some games just seem to like go off Game Pass and then come back. Very weird. I don't know why that happens. Like Celeste has been on there a couple of times, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Very weird. Very weird. But if you want to play Ascent and 2 Point Campus, you got to hurry up and get it played. And I would highly recommend Celeste. Is a very good game and it's a lot of fun. It's a good platformer. One of the best platformers made since like there's not a Nintendo IP. Let's just say that. Okay. We have the Fantasy League. Nothing's much changed. We have quite a lot to get through. Do we want to even cover the Fantasy League this week? I don't think we've really done anything.
Well, I think I would update that there's only a few games there where
All right.
I think this is interesting. Like, the Stalker 2 is still like not going to be released this year, but
Doesn't
I think the
look it, no.
PlayStation guys is just like, Exo Primo is like -3, didn't like turn out well, so that's
Oops.
that. Also, I think there was one or two things there, but I didn't really pay much attention. But to me, Oxenfree is like 78 out of 100. Pikmin 4 gets 88, which, because I bidded
wow.
like about $30 on it, I might get a huge money out of it, but it depends.
Ooh.
But apart from that, it's just like, yeah, just got those games, just waiting for the likes of Sea of Stars and Mia the Hollower. But I just recently added like Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which is coming out in August. So yeah, just
That'd be good.
a bit of hope to see if it just works out fine. But anyway,
Mine, I haven't changed mine at all.
yeah,
Mine are
so
all the same from last week.
so yeah, we wouldn't be expecting like next month we have like 3 games, and I think the autumn season is where we can really see the huge results with some of the games we put in. So just watch the space.
Right. So the next piece of news is a big article. You wanted to cover it, and it's a lot to cover. If we can try and maybe it's a serious thing. It's about harassment in Bethesda. I want you to cover it, but obviously, but just try and
I would like to recover it, but I like to state a disclaimer that what we're about to discuss for about 20 to 30 minutes is going to feature some workplace, toxic workplace, transphobia, and even a lot of gaslighting and also a lot of manipulation. So if you're sensitive with any of these topics, then please feel free to skip over for like about 20, 30 or 40 minutes until we can cover it all out. Also,
on the YouTube version, there should be timestamps as well, so you'll be able to skip to the next segment of the show. As well.
Also, like if you were listening on the podcast, people don't get timestamps, so just so
I know,
in advance.
I say if you watch it on YouTube, is what I'm saying. If you watch it on YouTube, you can check the timestamps at the bottom.
Also, the person who's been discussing about her experiences has also got a disclaimer saying that she wants to emphasize that I highly discourage any form of targeted harassment against the individuals involved in these recordings. Her goal is the opposite of that, and it's my hope that by sharing this information to the public in this format, the corporate policy at this company will improve to avoid the repeat events that she is about to share. So, yeah, so that's basically it.
Right.
So, oh gosh, I think I need to like deal with the graphic. But anyway, now the special topic that we're going to go through is the trans experience at Zenimax. What happened is that a trans woman has been working at Zenimax for about a reasonable amount of time, for years. She's been working on assets that, based on her portfolio, is for Elder Scrolls Online. Like the portfolio end of her video, which shows all the interesting stuff she worked on, and it doesn't seem to illustrate whether she's been working in Starfield or something like that. But she basically, it was a 4-hour video where she discusses about the harmful experiences she experienced, and even like felt really emotional after a lot of toxic managers been like mishandling her at the workplace and even held things to ransom. But rather than like go through like 4 hours worth of content, we'll just go for the notes here, which has been shared in the description of the video. So if I can like get it on the description of this podcast, then you'll get to check it out. So what happened is, like, it's been posted 2 weeks ago. Jim Precision, hosted by Stephanie Sterling, has been brought up about this whole thing and uses it to say that it's the most important Starfield video, even though it's just more related with her works on like Elder Scrolls Online. She's
Yeah.
Like, she's been like really bitter towards the Microsoft deal and tries to like shame the companies to a huge extent. But you shouldn't really like dismiss the fact that this work in particular has suffered horrendous abuse of the workplace, and it's just like many of the companies there. But as a trans person, it is really bad to hear all this, and it's not really great. So I thought we need to like bring this up on it, because I feel this is pretty much going to bring out to say about the working environment in like, I think it was in like Zenimax and those like that. So I'm just going to go through the description there. So in this video, she started with a screenshot of the messages from the manager that she received sack that she's outed, that she's been like outing her doing the group meeting with her teammates. So yeah, she's been like outed as a trans girl doing meetings. And when she's like trying to get over there, like she didn't seem to be aware of, or whether she's aware of those kind of things. It just seems like as if it's bad, because in Japan at the moment, I think if I'm correct in reading it, there's actually illegal to out someone at work in terms of sexual orientation and gender identity. So in this one,
Japan.
Yeah, that's right. So therefore, what the manager's doing is actually kind of illegal. And besides a lot of the stuff that she's been saying in the video, like if it's in the UK, that's against the Equality Act because of this whole abuse thing. Also, there's another note there saying, well, her manager does not take her inconsistent work photo issue seriously, which is not good. Also, she's been told that she needs to be given stricter work expectations due to FMLA. I don't know what's that.
I don't know what that is. I was going to ask you what that is.
Her manager assumes that her FMLA is for the surgeries, and after probing the details to why she is submitting the forms to Human Resources, it gets suggested that her role will be downgraded from mid-level to the associate due to the upcoming medical leave. Like, yeah, it's bad. Because I think one of the commenters did say that, like, I used to be really a top A student in college and doing so good, but when I entered as trans, teachers started to hate me and I got grades lowered. So yeah, it's just definitely like transphobia and this kind of things going on. So it's terrible.
Not good.
Also, there's another one where she gets pressured to not return to work early from the PTA, which turns into a conversation about why she needs to be assigned unique assignments from the rest of the team, and ends up being asked how much work she would take over on the upcoming weekend. She then tries to explain to her manager for the second time how devastating it was that she revealed to her new work photo before she had her opportunity, cancelling the meeting that they agreed on, where she would have a platform to come out on her own terms. And then she got pressured to come out by Slack messages instead. Oh gosh. But it's just got, I think I would just sum it up with some of the points there, but because this is really bad. Because when she changed her name, probably through deed poll, she wants to be identified with this name. But according to the messages she left in the summary, that her name is not being reflected in the records, and managers been using it to blame her for trying to screw up the system by changing her name and expects her to use her dead name.
Right, okay. That's fucked up. Sorry, it's really hot here if I'm wondering why I'm using a wet wipe, because it's really warm.
That's okay.
Yeah, keep going.
Then she had... so it just leaves the... She had another discussion with the manager's boss about the certain event that he was present for, and one in particular is discussing a name change in a group discussion, which some of you had never interacted with her and were not aware that she was transgender, which then leads to the final conversation that she had with the manager and the new producer, where she was trying to address ongoing issues that she had been logging on For 3 months, she kept hitting roadblocks for losing access to tools due to her name change, and nothing seemed to fix it. She displayed the series of screenshots of the login issues, which then, not annulled, but her portfolio website has been blocked off the company's firewall after she updated her name and the URL.
Okay.
Then the head of human resources have asked her that I don't understand. If you're being out to the public, aren't you already out? And then she had to explain to them that being transgender is not the same as everybody knows that you are trans. So then, when she contacted the corporate human resources at Bethesda, they responded by viewing me as a liability. They used her upcoming surgeries as leverage to release them from the potential discrimination lawsuit by promising to pay her corporate premiums, but only if she signed a resignation agreement with them. So there's a lot of really bad stuff going on with it.
It's not good. So, because obviously we've been talking for months about Activision having really bad, business practices inside treating their staff really badly. Turns out this is happening in Zenimax as well with certain employees, which is not great. I'm hoping this is only I don't want it to happen to anyone, obviously, but I was going to say I'm hoping this is just like a one-off thing or something, but it sucks no matter what if it's this person, we hope that this all gets resolved. It's not a good look for Microsoft, definitely not, and they need to get this fixed. They need to sort this out. It's disappointing. It's very disappointing to hear this stuff, to be honest. I feel like we're in the 21st century. This should be this shouldn't be a problem. I don't understand. But, there you go. Sucks.
Yeah,
so
I think I also like to say that I have experienced transphobia at workplace too, where customers have been transphobic to me. I've been I don't know, I don't remember the situations I've been dealing with it, but also with my autism and I have how much I have to bottle it up. It's just I get discriminated regardless. And it just seems like I had to go through really bad experiences because I'm autistic and trans and been dealing with a lot of bad experiences there. So I could definitely how she feels. And to be honest, it is a very poor performance to dealing with by Zenimax and Bethesda. So I think coming out of this, I really do hope they have to update their policies and learn from these events because she wants them to improve. She enjoys making assets for games like Elder Scrolls Online, and I think it's particularly important. But at the same time, I think it just kind of increases the guilt to any Zenimax game. I think of as if people are going to share this story and discourage people from playing Starfield. I can say to you that I'm still intending to play Starfield, but I don't really want to go as far to hugely supported by a huge amount. And I know it's wrong for me if I were to play it, but I think it's more important that we have to get the Bethesda and Zenimax promote this, bring up this message about how the trans woman has been not treated well in her workplace at Zenimax and working at Elder Scrolls Online and have the better policies there. But at the same time, in America, in certain states, how laws haven't been properly updated to deal with discrimination, because these kind of things, if it's in the UK or in Japan, the company will be faced with lawsuits because of how badly they treated the trans worker, and it's just absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, this is totally wrong, and I don't really like what has been happening to her, so I really sympathize with her. So, and it's just for this reason. It's just it just makes me worry about this whole company, and besides, there's even been a culture of huge corporate companies, not just Zenimax, but also I think it was I remember many others with Blizzard, the Activision, and Ubisoft, and not only that, it's just been misogynist and everything like that. It just seems it's just like as if they're trying to bring up this culture of like discriminating marginalized groups and not seem to addressing these issues.
I get, yeah. I was going to say, I don't want to sound like a fanboy because it's going to come across super fanboyish saying it probably, but I do appreciate that Xbox does have women and people of different races and stuff in higher positions in Xbox. It's not all just white dudes, you know. It is quite a variety of people of different races and creeds and backgrounds and stuff in the Xbox hierarchy. I'm just hoping that they can get this all sorted in there. When they get Activision, get that fixed in Activision and Blizzard, and then hopefully go sort this whatever this issue is in Zenimax, you know. And as I said, I'm hoping this is just a one-off thing, and I'm hoping it's not something that happens all the time.
Well,
but it is unfortunate, but it's horrible no matter what, and they need to get it sorted for sure.
I've been saying that Zenimax and Bethesda should really learn from this to improve their policies, and I think that's the aim of this whole video there. Not to like ask people to boycott games because they don't really work, which ironically that's been like mentioned during Precision videos too, that boycotts don't work. But I feel that these videos needs to raise the message and try to like improve experience for all workers.
I think you sent me a video. I think it was Dunkley. I think it was Dunkley, and it was he basically like he's boycotting games. I gotta boycott this game because it's transphobic, and then he gets sent to another game. And oh, sorry, I didn't realize this game was this. Oh, I didn't realize the maker of this game was sexist. Oh, I could. And basically, if you think about it, you can boycott pretty much every game in the industry because of something bad that's happened. It sucks, but we hopefully the business will get better. I'm hoping that I've got hope that the higher up in Xbox, they have won awards for like good for best workplaces to work for and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that they will improve these. You know, I mean, they've only just got Activision Blizzard, so I'm hoping that they will be able to improve it. I don't know.
What we did one of those earlier episodes this year where we talk about boycotting games because of the controversies,
yes, we did,
which you can find on the audio services and YouTube, which you can check it out if you want to find information. But
we talk a lot about that.
But yeah, so I just wanted to bring this out because I feel this is going to be talked a lot about, and I also feel as if people are going to be using it to like shame them. And to be honest, I think it's also ironic because I did mention that after hearing about a lot of controversy of Rooster Teeth and how staff are terribly treated, because this whole experience reminds me of like another trans woman who's been at Rooster Teeth for about many years. Like she came in, she's been she's been subjected to name calling, and when she came out as trans, she's been subjected to more transphobia and homophobia, and then she hasn't been paid so much for her work, and she only like said about the tip of the iceberg of all those experiences, and that's combined together with all those other workers. It just makes me think as if Rooster Teeth is not something they can be trusted. But I feel there's likely to be more experiences shared by people who work at Zenimax, and maybe then we just get to a question about the liability of like Zenimax. But yeah, as it stands, the experience shared at Zenimax is still terrible, and I still hope that people would use it to improve the policies that not only Zenimax but every games company. But I feel this is going to be more of a fight than just reminding them to change the policies, because our rights have been like rolled back. We've been fighting for our rights, and this is not limited to society. It's also at workplaces as well, especially the UK, like dealing with the Equality Act and trying to alter it so to work against us. So it's just a very terrible dark age for all of us all around the world.
Yeah, it's horrible, but we need to, hopefully we can get this all sorted. I will say this the other day as well. It is sad to think that pretty much everyone I looked up to or I liked or something turns out to be an arsehole. There's so many people out there who you don't realize what they're like in real life, and it's very sad. Let's try and move on to something a bit more positive now, because that was a bit of a downer, and hopefully they'll get this sorted and we can have more positive news going forward. I hope, fingers crossed.
Now get ready for
breaking news.
Microsoft have made $140 billion on the stock market in one day. So people were going, $69 billion for Activision Blizzard. How are they ever going to make that back? Well, they've made it back already twice. They've doubled it already in one day. Goddamn. That's insane.
So now, I think because they made like a profit out of the Activision deal, that ever since they're about to close the deal, they receive even more money. So now, with that extra amount of money, I think you'll be certain that they got Activision for free, so they might as well buy Sega, right?
I was just going to say that. You beat me to it. Yes, buy Sega. You have 140 billion, sorry. If they're worth 4 billion, give them 40. Give them triple or quadruple 10 times the amount of money they're worth. They will give up eventually. You need to persuade them to join you. Forceful takeover. Buy all their stock. We need a Sega in our business. We need Sega in the Xbox Game Pass ecosystem. Do it. Do it. Do it now. Do it now.
And then we also got an extra bit of news, which we haven't talked about a lot about the Activision deal. So, according to the screenshot you got from Twitter, Microsoft and Activision Blizzard have extended the merger agreement deadline to 18th of October. We're optimistic about getting this done, and we're excited about bringing more games to more players everywhere. So what does this mean?
Yeah. You were away from your computer, and I added this into the show notes while you're away, and I didn't realize that. Yeah, I thought I'd just let you see the news for yourself and get your honest reaction from your first viewing of the news. So not the 10th of the 18th month, not the 10th of March, because we're not Americans. If there's the 18th of the 10th month, which is October, right? Yeah, October. It means that we were hoping this deal will be done today or tomorrow. It looks like it might not be done for another 3 months. God damn it. Is pretty much the answer to that. We got maybe another 3 months of this to go at least. I thought today might be the day that it was all over, but Phil Spencer has announced that they've extended the deadline by another 3 months. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Well, it just means you have 3 months for. Well, we just have to wait another 3 months before they can start bringing Activision to Game Pass in October. But it's a good thing because they have to arrange a better deal with the UK market through the CMA, which unfortunately,
I suppose so.
Then they're not going to make a U-turn by the looks of it. So instead, they're going to have to make a compromise, which could mean they may end up having to give up some of the cloud gaming rights in the UK just to get that Activision on Game Pass for the UK customers. But it sucks, but it's just they just have to get around this whole cloud gaming issue, and then they have to bring this over. But I feel this is going to be more like the anime licensing things, where it's just you can get good anime in some of the European countries, but not in the UK because of the licensing issues.
God.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh. I hope not. Yeah, it's about the clouds. They're trying to get it moved over to EE in the UK. So we'll have to see what happens with that.
Wait, EE?
EE were the providers that they were talking about selling it to, but we'll see what happens. I think EE is the same as T-Mobile in America. They've branded it over here to EE. Echo for people who the letter E.
But EE. Why? Wait a bit. What would the EE want to do with cloud gaming rights?
I have no idea, but that's how they try to get around the CMA decision. Apparently, that's the rumor. But we will see. They've got 3 months. They got 3 months to sort this now, so that's fine. Hopefully, this gets sorted, and hopefully, it's good for the UK gamers. We're sorry in the UK for making this take another 3 months for everyone else in the world. We apologise. But in my defence, I never voted for this government. So in my defence, I didn't want these idiots in charge. So There you go.
It's time for the topic of the show.
Gold is dead. That makes me sad. Keep that in. I like that. But no. Xbox Live Gold is no more. Hasta la vista, baby, and it is gone. It's gone the way of PlayStation. That now we have 4 different tiers for Game Pass, which is not at all confusing, not at all confusing. We have I was going to call it Xbox Live, Xbox Game Pass Core. And you're drinking Pepsi Max. You're copying me. That's my drink. My drink of choice is Pepsi Max.
I think you'll be sticking to Coke since you've been advertising it last week. Chicky. But anyway,
Coke.
So what happened is Xbox Live Gold is being replaced by Xbox Game Pass Core, which has got the same properties as Gold, only that instead of the games of Gold, you have a back catalogue of 25 games, just like with PlayStation Plus Instant Collection. Because there's used to be an Instant Collection where you have games every month, but now you just like have a catalogue of games to choose from. So now,
So when the PS5 launched, they had the PS4 collection, which had a load of really good PS4 games on it, and now they've got rid of it. That's no longer a thing on PlayStation, which is weird to me. I feel like that was the better way of doing it. But they swap places. They're doing the Game of Gold stuff now, where you just get a game every month with the basic package instead of having a collection, which is weird. I think the collection is a better way of doing it, and also it gives people a taste of the Game Pass. You know, try and get them in. It's like, ooh, I can play all these games, and if I pay an extra $1, I can get all these games as well. Wow! Like, you know, I think it's a good taste palette for this. There's 25 games coming.
Yes.
I have the list of the games right here if we want to go through them real quick. So
first of all, as compared to the Xbox Live Gold, the only difference you get is you have Games of Gold replaced with over 25 high quality games, and you're getting it for the same price. So if you're on Xbox Live Gold, you'll have yours replaced with Xbox Game Pass Core, and you won't have a huge difference apart from the games you can get. So
yeah, and I think we can all agree. The Games with Gold has not been the best for the last couple of years. It's been pretty bad. You've been getting games you've never even heard of, like 6 out of 10s and stuff, like really bad games you're getting with Games with Gold. So the quality of the games you're getting in this Game Pass collection is really good and really nice. I think it's a nice little palette. As you might notice from the list, we're going to go through it in a minute, but there's not really any like super modern games in here, not like games that came out in the last year or so, but it does have a nice collection here. It's kind of like the Xbox is slightly older games, but they still kind of rock. So let's go through it. So obviously Among Us, that's a huge viral hit.
Yep.
If you want to throw your friends under the bus and be sus about them, that's great. Descenders, that game is great. If you haven't played it, it's a downhill biking game. They're one of the few people who've come. Well, one of the big fans of Game Pass. They were talking about how much money they've made because of Game Pass and how much they love the service. So it makes perfect sense to put it in the core edition. Dishonored 2, one of the best stealth games ever made by Arcane, who've just made the masterpiece that is Redfall. No, they make good games. This is Dishonored 2 is one of their really good games worth checking out. Doom Eternal, which came out the same day as Animal Crossing. That hasn't really got anything to do with anything, but is very violent. It's a good first-person shooter. It's a lot of fun. If you're into first-person shooting, check it out. Elder Scrolls Online, Tamriel Unlimited. So Tamriel Unlimited, I'm pretty sure it's just the base version of Elder Scrolls Online. Am I wrong, or do you know?
Well, it's an MMO version of Elder Scrolls. And it's been going on for many years, and there's like Microsoft have been like boosting it in their like conferences, and it just seems as if they really want people to try this game. But with the release of the statement involving with the transit experience at the Zenimax, I think this might be a bit awkward considering like how the staffing is just like. Well, I mean, we discussed it earlier in the podcast, so let's not like reveal too much. So
also be interesting to see what happens once World of Warcraft becomes a part of the Xbox catalog. That's really interesting.
yeah, true.
Fable Anniversary, so the remake of the original Fable game. Fallout 4, which is probably people's least favorite Fallouts, but it's pretty good. It's not a bad game. Actually, no, I lied. At least it's better than 76.
Yeah, I was going to say that. So, if you want if you want a Fallout game, Fallout 4 is just perfectly fine. But I think it's better if you have Fallout 3, of course.
For sure. I think they should have put Skyrim on here, to be honest. But hey, whatever. Fallout 4 is pretty cool. Forza Horizon 4, which is based in Blighty, the good old UK. And it has seasonal effects where it goes from winter to summer to autumn to spring. It's a really fun racing game. I think Forza Horizon 5 slightly better with the Mexican theme with the volcanoes and all the like stuff like that and the sandstorms and stuff. But if you want a good racing game, Forza Horizon 4 is fantastic and it's really worth playing. But yeah, that's what I was saying about older games. It's like we don't have Forza Horizon 5 on here. We have Forza Horizon 4 for some reason, but still a really good game. I
think they just don't really want to get the latest releases here and just put all the classics here too. But I have to say, so far it looks like an interesting list. Like Gears 5, it doesn't have like Gears 4 on the list, so you're basically playing like the 5th entry down the line. But it's very good though. Yeah, exactly. Grounded. We've been playing the game to death, and I have to say, we've been like having multiplayer sessions, building houses, and to be honest, it's so much a great experience. So I'm glad this just came on a core catalog. Yeah, I wanted to mention Gears 5 briefly before you move on. Sorry, is that this was one of the first games that got upgraded for Series X and Series S. It was a launch title for the Xbox Series S and X. If you want something that shows how powerful the Series X is, Gears 5 is beautiful. Check it out. It is an awesome game to push the hardware. It's got a nice open world stuff. Got some good battle modes. It doesn't look like it comes with Hivebusters. Hivebusters is a really good DLC as well. So if you play Gears 5, enjoy it. Check out Hivebusters as well. Really worth doing. And then, as you said, Grounded, awesome. It is a survival game similar to if you ever played Minecraft, it's got a similar vibe to that. But you got giant. Well, you're tiny. So really, it's giant spiders and ants and stuff, but there's normal size, but you're tiny. You know what I mean? They seem big to you as a person. Then you have the odd choice of Halo 5 Guardians. I don't know why they put that in here. I think they should have put Master Chief Collection personally. And there's also Halo Wars 2 as well. Yeah, so Halo 5 is considered the worst Halo game of the series. It's still pretty good. I mean, even a bad Halo game is still decent to play. But I would recommend, if you're going to play a Halo game, I recommend just getting the Master Chief Collection, to be perfectly honest. You were saying that you would prefer... You were saying as if you would prefer to have Master Chief Collection on it because it gives you all the Halo games on there. So I think this would have been a more sensible choice because Halo 5 Guardians, I don't know if putting it on the core catalog is going to encourage more of the players to go into it. But so far, like, you have a multiplayer and you'll find most of the players in like Team Slayer and you may not be able to find them in other modes, which it's not great. So you don't have much of a choice there. So you'll be left like playing the main story, which is pretty much the armpits of this whole game, to be honest. But right now, like if you get the Game Pass core, then you just have to end up dealing with Halo Infinite multiplayer only. So if you want to get the campaign, you have to upgrade to a higher tier of Game Pass. I was going to say, so try and get... Halo Infinite is free online, though, so maybe play Halo Infinite if you want to play an online multiplayer version of Halo. Or get the Master Chief Collection for cheap. Because as you were saying earlier, it was on sale earlier, so try and get maybe Halo Infinite, Halo Master Chief Collection if you can. Then we have Halo Wars 2. Not played much of it, but it's supposed to be one of the best RTSs on console. People recommend it. If you're into RTSs, give it a shot. Hellblade Senua's Saga. We got the new Hellblade coming out this year, which looks incredible. If you want to get prepared for that, check it out. It's kind of got like a walking sim vibe to it. If you're a Sony fan,
and you love sad people walking simulator games like The Last of Us and stuff like that, Hellblade would be right up your street. It's a pretty decent game. Check it out. Human Fall Flat. This is a very silly game with a lot of like ragdoll physics and stuff. It's just a fun co-op game. It's like kid friendly. It's fun. Check it out. Inside is creepy as hell, but it's a platformer. I don't want to spoil the ending or anything, but it has a really weird ending. But it's really interesting game. It's about 2-3 hours long. It's a good platform if you want to have something just to chill and just play through. Then Ori and the Will of the Wisps, one of the most beautiful games on Xbox. Metroidvania, where you play Ori, the spirit rabbit. I don't know what to call him. He's like a rabbit, but he's like a ghost. And then you have like an owl friend. And it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's really fun. It's like a giant forest. It's like designed like a Metroid game. You unlock certain abilities to get into certain sections. You just open up the map and like explore the map. You know, if you play the Metroid game, it's very similar to that, but it's very, very pretty.
It's also a good choice to put on the catalog there. But
I think it's a brilliant game for the catalog. Definitely check it out if you haven't played it. So then we have Psychonauts 2, which I haven't finished yet, but it is a 3D platformer similar to like Banjo or Super Mario 64 or whatever, but it has psychological stuff. You're going into people's minds and stuff.
So last year, it's released last year, and I've been playing it for a while. It just plays like Psychonauts, where only it's like prettier and has more features with it. But I think I would certainly recommend playing the Xbox original and check it out. But then if you're on the core edition and you're just like stuck with Psychonauts 2, but it's still a pretty good game, so it's worth checking out if you're into platformers, that kind of thing.
And then finally, the final one, State of Decay 2, the Juggernaut edition. State of Decay 2, open world zombie game. Not my thing, but I've heard people really enjoy it. So if you like the sound of that, check it out. State of Decay 3 is coming at some point. We don't know when. It was announced in 2020, and we haven't heard anything since. So God knows when that's coming out. But yeah, that is the collection. It's interesting. There's a nice little, and there's going to be more games added, and they said they're going to change it every 2 or 3 times a year. So it's interesting that we get this little catalog. What I also find interesting is if you look at the tiers, Game Pass Core has online multiplayer, but Game Pass Console doesn't. But Game Pass Console is $1 more, which is weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
So if you want the full collection of games and day one, and you want online, you need to have the Ultimate Edition.
Yes.
Of Game Pass, which is $16. So you got to basically decide: do you want online multiplayer or do you want hundreds of games? That's like the question you got to decide.
Yeah.
I think the catalog of core games is pretty decent. I think if I was really struggling to pay money, if I didn't have much money, I think I could survive on core for a bit. I think it's decent enough for to last. You know, if you're new to Xbox, I think it's a good little collection of games for sure.
Well, I think when you say there's no gold multiplayer in the console version of the Game Pass, now you're just making it sound as if the core might be a much better deal because you already got a lot of games in it that will take you whiles to beat. Also, it has a benefit. Like if you've been using Xbox Live Gold in the past, which you can get, if you've been getting games from Games of Gold, Xbox 360 games, and I don't know if it's the same for original Xbox, they're free for you to download, regardless if you have Gold or not, or the Core Pass. But if you stay on the Core subscription or any higher, then you can still have the ones you got from Games of Gold, which are Xbox One or Xbox Series X games. And I think this is a good way to reward customers who have been using the collection for years.
For sure. I think it's a really cool little collection. I think it's a nice little collection. Yeah. It's $1 more for the main version of Game Pass. I suppose if you've got the core version, you're not going to get every Game Pass game, and you're not going to get all the new games. You're not going to get Starfield or anything. You have to wait probably 3 or 4 years before Starfield gets added to it. So, there's that. So I think, honestly, your best bet is just to get the full Ultimate version, but there you go. PC Game Pass is the best deal of them all. That's that's the same price as Game Pass Core, but you get hundreds of games and all new games as well, and EA Play. Because you don't have to pay for online, because PC games you don't pay for online. The online's free for PC. So you're making it's a much better deal for PC gamers, to be honest. If you're a PC gamer, you're you've got the best tier, I think. So good for you, lucky bastards.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I think for me, as you were saying about that, I've been using the Microsoft Rewards to get Xbox Gold so I can fuel up my Ultimate subscription. That's really useful. But if I was struggling with money, yes, I would definitely downgrade to. It was originally Xbox Live Gold because I think I got enough games to play with. But now with the Game Pass Core, it just means I can get the best of the games in the catalog and still play it, which to me is a much better deal compared to Xbox Live Gold. So that's something I'm pretty chuffed about.
Yeah, I wish they certainly. So obviously, if you have we forgot to mention, if you have Xbox Live Gold now, in September it will just automatically become Xbox Game Pass Core. It just
that's
does it
what I
automatically.
mentioned there.
It's just yeah. So also I was going to say. It makes the main reason I brought up the Core and the Game Pass console is that it kind of means that either way you're missing out on a key feature of Xbox. If you get one of these subscriptions, really you need the Ultimate to get the full experience. So I don't know why they've done it that way. I wish they'd just put the online in the Game Pass console edition, or just got rid of the console edition and just had the Ultimate would be the same as the console edition. It's weird to me that there's a £1 difference and you don't get all the features. Weird. It's very strange the way they've done that.
So I think we're just going to wrap this up. That this change will happen in September, and anyone who's been on Gold will have their subscription change and get to experience different changes there. But so far, interesting games catalog and an interesting price. And I think with a few tidbits, it just makes it look like it's a better deal for those on the budget. But if you got the money every month, then Game Pass Ultimate is still worth it. And if you've been using Microsoft Rewards, been completing challenges and filling up lists, then you can get Game Pass Ultimate for free if you put in a lot of work in it. So, but otherwise, if you don't have enough money per month, if you can get 50% more cash, then Game Pass Core is pretty much a better deal for you, really. So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I think people are arguing about if this is a good deal or not. I think it's decent. I still feel like playing for online is a bit old school. I feel like that should be something that gets removed. But Xbox makes so much money off Xbox Live Gold and now soon to be Game Pass Core that they can't really justify just cutting it off. I think they need to keep it as a subscription to keep people playing. But could you imagine if one day just Xbox came out and said all online is free? How many people would be excited and join Xbox? I don't know. I think it'd be a good.
That used to be PlayStation and Nintendo, because they used to host online multiplayer for free before they introduced their subscription service. Yeah,
and now So I don't personally play for PlayStation Plus. I only play for online at Nintendo and Xbox. So it's just interesting to see how they're going to try and get my dollars, try and get me to pay more for certain things. It's interesting. I think it's a nice change. I still don't think we need 4 tiers. I think they could have just got rid of the console tier or merged it with the gold tier or the core tier. I don't know, but that's just me. Hey, at least it's more simple now. It's easier to explain for newcomers.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's wrap this up. I'm going to ask you the final question. I have a question for you, Chief. So, with 140 billion that Microsoft just acquired through market shares, if it's you who received that, or if you put your shares into it and then suddenly you get billions of dollars, what would you do with it?
if I was just, so you're saying if I was just rich right now,
Yeah.
I quit my job. That's one thing. I'm sure. Buy myself an Aston Martin. Probably get myself in like a nice flat somewhere, and then do the YouTube full time because I'm not doing this to get paid. I do it for fun. I enjoy doing YouTube, so I would just do YouTube full time. If I was suddenly rich overnight, that would be pretty sweet.
But
And,
if you have
play
like
Xbox
$140 billion, then you wouldn't have to work at all.
I know, but this isn't work to me. I wouldn't work my actual job. I would just do podcasts. I like doing podcasts. It's fun. I might hire someone to do all the editing and the recording and stuff. I just host and I don't have to do any of the effort. That'd be brilliant.
Or you can just buy a company with that money.
Or I could run my own games company. Yeah.
Or buy a pre-existing company who's like doing a lot of video editing and doing all the security. And you might even get a video player with it too. So we're not talking millions, it's billions.
Billions. Buy Rooster Teeth.
Well, I think with that kind of money, I will be buying a bunch of companies like Rooster Teeth and like combining them into a special company. But yeah, this is also what Way said. Like, if you got all that money, what would you do with it? And he said, like, I'll buy Rooster Teeth. He literally said that during the stream.
Yeah, why not? I would. I don't think I would want any responsibility. I'd just enjoy my life if I had that kind of money, to be honest. I'm just cool. I'll be just chill. Just do what I want with myself, you know? And, I'll give you if I had 140 billion, I'd be like, here's $1 million for you, Alice. Here's $1 million for you. Here's $1 million for you. Here you go. Everyone have £1 million. Let's everyone be happy.
And then,
I'll be like that.
And then you got bored with the people you get your millions there, and you decide to buy Twitter for...
Yeah, I'll buy Threads just to confuse everyone.
Yeah.
Twitter and Threads, I combine them. Confuse everyone.
Because what Microsoft just received is just like approximate, almost like quadruple of what Elon Musk paid Twitter with, which is 42 billion.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. What would you do with 140 billion?
Well, as I said, I buy a bunch of companies. That's what I said to you.
Okay. No. Okay. I thought you might have a Pacific Rooster Teeth, I guess, like Pacific company in mind. I thought, I don't know. I'm trying to think of. Yeah, I don't know. I'd enjoy myself. I would just enjoy it. That's the thing with money. I don't really care for much. I don't really care about money that much. As long as I have enough to live off and to enjoy, I can play my Xbox games and stuff, I'll be happy. So that's the answer.
Yeah.
Money doesn't buy you happiness, but it does buy you Xboxes, which make me happy. So there you go.
But it does. Well, money doesn't make you happy, but it does let you buy Twitter.
Yeah, and mess it up for everyone else. On that note, thank you guys for watching Xbox the Box and Xbox Podcast. We really appreciate your time. And thank you for watching. If you have any thoughts, let us know in the comments below. Please help us reach 153 subscribers because we want to beat those PlayStation rapscallions. Ooh!
And if we got enough money, we could buy those guys and put them into the Xbox podcast. Profit.
Oh yeah, we could. If I had 140 billion, I could force them to buy I could buy them all Xboxes and force them to play Xbox,
or get them into the Xbox podcast and label them as Xbox fans. You're contracted to only discuss about Microsoft and just this on PlayStation. Otherwise,
that'd be good.
Shoo.
And I'd give money to Jim Ryan just so I can kick him in the ass. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I was going to say PS We Trust then. Jesus, no. Thank you for watching Xbox the Box, an Xbox podcast. We really appreciate your viewership. We really enjoy doing this show. And we'll hopefully be back next week. Well, I will be. Spoilers. I mean... Alice, you're gonna be away next week, but we will hopefully have a special guest on next week, and hopefully I'll be able to still run it.
Well, we'll discuss about that. But until then, but at least I survived after drinking the Grimace shake last week. But I was going to make one today, so.
Ooh, I was worried.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be dead next week. That's why I need to do podcast. A Grimace shake. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, too sweet.
Bye.
Goodbye. So long. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the X Marks the Box podcast. Follow us at X Marks Box on Twitter or X Marks the Box on YouTube. And follow us on all audio podcast services. Thanks for listening.